Welcome back. You've made an excellent choice of video here today on YouTube. Today we're going to upgrade the JG Bar-10 even further. If you've seen my previous upgrade videos, you know that it is upgraded to shoot about 600 feet per second, and it is quite accurate, up to about 250 feet or so, to a man-sized target with .3 gram rounds. So now we're going to take the laylax M190 spring and install it. Hopefully it will get at least 650 feet per second with .2s. We are also going to install the Airsoft GI 6.03 tight bore inner barrel. This is the, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's their custom brand that they do. It's made of steel and it is very high quality, and I really hope it will get me to at least 300 feet accurate. Now, I'm going to show you generally how to install these two parts. It is going to be fun, it is going to be amazing, and you are going to love it. Stay tuned, and you will know how to install these parts momentarily.
Now guys, let's get started. First we're going to work with the barrel. So, just heads up, this is not a disassembly guide, I'm just going to show you generally how to do this. Now, I do have disassembly guides for the JG Bar-10 and similar rifles. Just go look at my list of videos. It's about halfway down, probably. It's an older video, it's about a year old at least. So check that out if you guys are having trouble getting your gun disassembled and upgraded and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and start with the barrel. Obviously you're going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, and then you open up your hop-up, take out the barrel, all that good stuff. So let's do that now. Now that we have the hop-up chamber opened up, you see you got your little arm here, the spring, the hop-up adjusting bar, the hop-up arm which actually presses on the bucking itself, the bucking, and the barrel. So all we're going to be upgrading today is the barrel. I'm actually using the stock bucking, and I've had really good luck with it so far. It's a pretty tough and hard bucking, so it's really good for high FPS upgrades. Now, about 6 or 8 months ago, my hop-up arm actually snapped on me. It's a piece of plastic, and they're actually kind of a pain to find, and the easiest way to really repair it is to take some JB Weld to it. I've actually had some really good luck with JB Weld. It is an airsoft godsend. It's like $5 or $7 at Lowe's. Go check some out. They actually have a website, and they really are great at advertising all this stuff, so go check it out. Really great stuff. Obviously, the only good way to upgrade the hop-up chamber is to replace it, and that is not cheap. Airsoft GI's replacement chamber, I think it's made by PDI, runs for about $130. That's not something I'm willing to spend on my main sniper rifle right now. Maybe in the future when I have the money, but not right now. Now before we install the new Airsoft GI 6.03 barrel, let's take a look at the craftsmanship and how similar the upgrade barrel is to the stock barrel. Now as you can see here on the end, the arm on the upgrade barrel, right there at the end of the barrel, is actually gone. So, good, bad, I'm not really sure. I read a lot of reviews on these. Some people, the older ones, they had machining problems with them. There were a lot of burrs left in the section there where it's cut out, where the hop-up actually engages the BB. That was not so for me. The machining there is great. It's just as smooth as the stock barrel, and it looks excellent. Now, I actually measured these out. They are exactly the same length, like down to the millimeter. So that's great. I don't have to drill anything out or modify anything or bore anything out, so that's good. The crowning on the stock barrel, a little bit there, but the crowning on the upgrade barrel is about like a 45-degree incline, so that's pretty nice. I'm glad to know that Airsoft GI does a good job with their upgrade barrels. So now we have the upgrade barrel installed. This is the easy part so far. Getting this massive spring in the cylinder is going to be the painful part. It was a pain getting the Airsoft GI M170 spring in there before it wasn't broken in. Getting a 190 spring in there should be pretty interesting. Now, don't forget you put your barrel spacers back on there. Those are a must. If you have upgrade ones, that's great. I do want to get some upgrade ones, but right now most places are out of stock, and I don't feel like ordering out of the country right now, so I'm just going to have to wait. Just a heads up, the crowning on the end of the barrel is kind of sharp. Did leave a pretty good indent in my skin. It almost cut me, so just a heads up, that is pretty sharp. Don't cut yourself. So now we can move on to the bolt or cylinder. Let's open this up, and I'll show you all the upgrades I have in there currently, then we can install the SP190 spring. So I've got three real upgrade parts in here. The Airsoft GI M170 spring, getting about 600 feet per second with that, 580 to 600 in there with .2s. But I usually use .3s or .4s, so it's going to be down in the mid 400s with that kind of heavyweight BB. I've also got the Airsoft GI orange piston. This is the older one. The newer one has ports on top, so it allows the O-ring to expand when it's being pushed forward and all the air is being compressed. This one still gets a great air seal. I'm really happy with it. It's pretty consistent. I've also got the Airsoft GI bearing spring guide. It's all metal, so that helps. Not 100% sure about bearings on this ridiculously high-powered spring, but these are pretty well sealed into the little bearing section of it, so I'm not too worried about it. If they pop out, I'll just remove them. It's really not that big a deal. One thing I did want to point out is my kind of custom damper job I did here. This is the damper in the center here is from an old mid-powered electric gun. The piston head on it, I just took that off of that and trimmed it down a little bit. And I have an O-ring on the outside of that, so it kind of gives it an interesting damper style. It doesn't exactly dampen the sound, it's just that it prevents loads and loads of wear on the cylinder head. Now, when I got this stock, it was just a big piece of metal. There was no damper on it, and that was not exactly the best thing. So a damper definitely does help the durability on the cylinder head. It doesn't strip the threading out on these cheaper ones as fast. So looking at the two springs side by side, the Airsoft GI M170 spring is about a little over an inch shorter than the Laylax SP190 spring. Of course, this spring has been broken in, so it's doing really well so far. The upgrade spring does have some coiling at the end. Make sure if you install one of these, the coiling is toward the spring guide, so it just performs correctly and everything. The spring itself is actually a little thicker on this one, so I'm really fascinated to see what kind of FPS, what kind of speed we're going to get out of this. I'm really curious. Now, I just got this M190 spring installed, and damn, I didn't think it'd be that tough. The M170 spring's a lot easier to get in, so dang, I really recommend you guys either get a very muscular person to help out, or a very professional tech, or maybe some kind of pneumatic press. I'm not really sure, but just you kids out there that are wanting super high FPS snipers like this, just forget about it. Not going to work for you guys. Now, obviously, the cylinder head is the last piece you have to install to get everything set on your cylinder and everything, but this was the most painful part, is actually pressing this on. What I had to do was actually secure the cylinder head into my vice grip and push everything down into it. And oh dang, it took at least 10 tries to get it. And I'm a moderately strong person, even though I've got skinny arms, but it took some pretty good work to get that in there. Now, what actually happened to me several times, it kept misthreading for some reason, even though it was aligned perfectly. So I believe it's the spring being so dang powerful, it's actually just pushing some weird way on the cylinder head. I was able to get it back into place with the tack hammer, and it seems to be aligned and working right now. So just fair warning to you guys, this is a $25 spring in Airsoft GI, and it's very, very powerful. So if you guys are going to use this, just be warned, it's probably going to break your gun pretty fast unless you have the necessary upgrades in there. So be careful. So, tried chronoing this thing with .2s, and the Mad Bull knockoff chrono that I have just will not read it because it's shooting so dang fast. Just I cannot get a proper reading on it. So I think it's pretty safe to assume it's shooting upwards of 600 to 650 feet per second. Honestly, I cannot tell unless I get a better chrono. So I guess we'll find that out later. But so far it seems to be working pretty well. I tried the M170 spring in it with the Type 4 barrel, and I was getting about 585 to 600 feet per second pretty consistently. So that's good. At least I know that's working. So the spring should get, at least 650 feet per second. Now, I physically could not pull the bolt back with my arm. I actually had to stomp my foot down on it to get it to actuate. So, dang. So, what about a shooting and range test? Not in this episode, guys. You guys are going to have to wait. I'm going to get that filmed as soon as I can, but sadly, my 60-foot backyard just does not do it. So, we'll have to do that another time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23, signing off.